What's up, handsome people? This is Fotis Nicolau, and this is the Calm and Profitable podcast show. And for today's show, I actually have like a very interesting guest because he's not like a marketer or a copywriter. In fact, the first time I ever watched the training of his, it was to a group of copywriters, and he started by saying, "This is weird to me. All the things you guys do are weird." And I found it this very interesting and very hilarious. I actually met him in Rome, at Matthew Volkwin's email slash copy dojo event. He was like a very cool dude, which is always like a breath of fresh air whenever you meet people from the internet marketing community, actual in real life. And he has some really interesting thoughts on how you can build your personal brand. He has a different background that most of us in the internet marketing community he have. So I thought you know what, yeah, I don't want just more marketers and copywriters on the show. So I decided to bring Emile Fick for today's show. So Emile, thanks for being here with us. It's a pleasure, I have to say.
Thanks so much for having me. I really wish I had a less aggressive surname, but I mean, we'll work with this for now. And
It's
you
okay,
really
man.
ran with it. Fick.
Fick. I was between should I call him Fick or Thick? I made a joke about, yeah, I mean, it was an interesting offer idea for flat ladies. Think and grow thick. So I don't know. Yeah,
Man.
yeah. I mean, maybe I should come up with something that rhymes with your last name. But yeah, man. I mean, thanks for being here. And yeah, I mean, I asked you if you can do a brief introduction because I could, even though I stalked you a little bit online, I didn't have enough time to do a complete stalking job. So yeah, maybe you can share a little bit about your experience, and then we can wrap about other more interesting things.
Of course, I like being stalked. So yeah, I'm a creative director, art director, and creative director that's worked in a lot of fields, and I primarily focused a lot in the filming and the branding side of a lot of disciplines. And I just it's constantly it's my biggest challenge in this podcast is going to be to not go down tangents because it's like over 14 years of working in various industry, both in direct response, in filming, in app design, in web design. It's just been all over, and I guess it's one of the things we'll kind of go into. But just to first establish authority here, I have worked with Netflix. We've done some Netflix productions. Worked with Woolworths and Ford, Founder. Done some stuff for Clickbank. There's a long list, but I'm trying to think of the clients that your space would be more familiar with. Clickbank being one of the ones. Founder, I really loved working with Founder. I worked with agency very deep into your world, which I loved working for. Really, really cool stuff, and just a lot of brands. Primarily focus in building creative teams, training creatives, and I really like one step outside of that occupational thing, which is again touching on what we'll get into. But really, really fascinated by your world, and I'm still kind of in the infancy of this new venture of going into it. I've been working with Matthew Volkwin, which has been just probably the most fun I've had in a very long time, unexpectedly so. My love will always be filming and video productions, but the deep thought process of making effective creative that is really only, in my opinion, really only coming to fruition for me after diving into your world. That's what I meant by your world is weird to me. It's so different. With the first time I saw the kind of stuff that you guys do, the collateral and assets that you guys work with, to me, I'm like, this is not I'm used to 20, 30, 40 man video production teams or production teams in marketing and creative. And you guys are like one man mercenaries, and it's fascinating. Yeah, it's just very fascinating. So that's a short little bite size of me.
Okay, that's interesting, man. I mean, I actually want to touch on what you said about a one man slash woman show versus a full team. Maybe we're gonna have time later, but yeah, I mean, in the training in that you did in Manila, where it was about personal branding, you just very briefly talked about a occupational curiosity, and I actually know a bunch of a very established guys in the direct response space who, I mean, for them, a curiosity is a sign of a good marketer and copywriter. So yeah, I would first of all like to hear what are your thoughts on this occupational curiosity. Maybe you can like define it a little bit, and yeah, we can riff off on this like a.
Yeah, I found so weirdly enough, where I kind of started off, where everything started off with is the lazy man, the lazy creatives trope of photography. And I started there because I was in the space of motocross a lot. I cared about three things when I was considerably younger. What a sad phrase, but I was motorbike, surfing, and creative elements. I didn't know what that meant, but that was basically it. And of course, woman, and being the 19-year-old that you are. But
Same on
I
you.
was amongst
Same on you.
I was amongst a lot of the motocross athletes in the South African space. And my friend was at that time a three-time South African champion. And he was like, hey, listen, next time we go to the track, let's just grab a camera. And this will feed into to your question. But we just started taking photos. And this is when Facebook became very popular in terms of like people putting themselves out there, really, really putting, because back then it was just things of sharing cringy stories and fake news type of stuff, but back then it really became this prominent center of people advertising themselves. Personal brand wasn't really such a prominent thing. And I had more and more people asking me to take photos of themselves, and it was because they wanted to showcase for sponsors. A lot of these people were athletes. So went to a track, took some photos. I taught myself some photoshopping, and it just grew and it just grew. And I made a killing from just that, just literally going to a track and just setting up these people and having showing their personality behind the helmet, and it really, really had a prominent effect to them. And it was that point when I realized that the people who often, as I kind of went through the years and going different fields and growing teams and growing creatives and working with creatives, I realized that the guys who stayed in one place for a long time are people who occupationally limited themselves. I am a copywriter. This is what I am. A copywriter writes copy, which, by the way, I don't think there's a more criminally inaccurate title than copywriter. It's like calling a race car driver a steering wheel holder. It's like, sure, you do that, but there's so much more to it. And it was actually copywriters that initiated the thinking for me about like occupational curiosity, because I'm an incredibly frustrating guy to work with because I'm so curious about things. Why are you doing that? Where's that going to? Actually, wait, there's this beautiful saying of everything is magic except to the magician, right?
Yeah.
You think that everything is this mystery, but once you get your hands onto it, you're like, that's it? How much are you charging for this? Like, you know what I mean? But why I'm saying copywriters was the initiation here, was the initiation of this idea for me, was because I love working with copywriters. And copywriters, there's so many fields that they work in, right? If we need a website, you need a copywriter. If we need to do a filming production, you need a copywriter. You need a script. You need a storyboard. You need some concept, some synopsis, or whatever the case may be. And what I noticed is the more I started working with copywriters and the more I started working with developers, and some more I realized that the nuance of the way that I went about my work changed because I understood where it was going, right? It's so one of my favorite things is when I hire a videographer, or whenever I hire a video editor, I don't hire those two separately. I tend to hire them together because a guy who films to edit knows what he's filming for, right? He understands the Lego blocks that he's getting to build something with, right? Again, the nuances of things change. You see something holistically, and that holistic view is what you're supposed to try and go for. So I always tell people, do what you do it really well, then take one step to the left, take one step to the right. And you'll find yourself, everything becomes easier. It's like this momentum of curiosity. It's just this momentum of curiosity. So when I notice why a copywriter, like that was the weird thing for me going into your world, because when I was, to me, it was all about the coolness. What do you make people feel? Now you guys play by the same rules, but the way that you get there is very different. Your pain points, all these things. We had to do a marketing campaign for a very, very big American share trading company. They helped you with those stockbrokers, right? And it was a lot about making good choices and investing so that that you can build wealth. And they didn't want to go the normal route. They don't want to do the whole thing of like the stock footage of the guys shaking hands and seeing the fancy car and the big house. And it's like, we want to try and hit them where it hurts. And this is when I sat with incredibly talented copywriter, and we started talking. We're like, let's do some research. What's our general persona? It was your upper middle age, older, established white guys. They've got a family, they're looking out for the future, they're thinking about the future, and a lot of them had families, right? And what better way? And we kind of chatted, and what this video turned into was this guy investing in his daughter's like swimming lessons, and then she became like an Olympic diver, and it's just this growth and putting everything into it. And it was incredibly successful because we didn't hit them in their wallets, we hit them at home, and I was working with a copywriter. I was like, oh, it's that fear, it's that insecurity, it's those pain points. But once I worked with that, I started working differently going into scripts. I started working differently with setting up productions, and the way that I spoke to my team who wasn't with copywriters, I started like transferring those things, and everything became, and you know what, people notice that. They notice when you have a holistic view of things. That's when you start cross-pollinating to manager or art director. An art director is just someone who understands the bigger picture. A creative director is just someone who understands the bigger picture, but also really understands the messaging and understands that consistency, that congruency, that thread that goes through the whole thing. I think that's why I have such an incredible love for working with copywriters. I just think that you guys go very deep on a psychological level, and to transfer that into a visual element is the most fun thing in the world.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. It's funny that you mentioned this because you just presented like a different way of thinking, okay, how you can like go from just like a copywriter, which is, let's say, a gun for hire, to someone who charges like a way more money, who takes like a way more responsibility, etc. And it actually like is connected very much. I mean, my experience is I didn't get into the copywriting space because I Googled how to make money online. Like unlike like a lot of like the younger guys, I actually had the fitness business, and it was struggling at the time. And I'm like, okay, probably doing a good enough job and having like a good client results is not enough. Like I need to do some type of marketing. I need to learn like a little bit of copywriting. And it was like you're very good at one thing, and then you put like another. It's not like a 1 + 1 = 2. It was 10. It was a pretty cool
massively
thing.
exponential.
Exactly, yeah, because you understand like what are like the principles. I mean, you are like those are like my blind spots, and I can improve there. And this is not just like for, let's say, the service or the product and like the marketing. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe a business, they're like really crappy with like a customer service, and yeah, this is gonna be like the big needle mover for them. But yeah, man, I mean, I love this idea of like, okay, you get started in one field, get really good at it, and then start doing like more things, like so you can like help progress like the overall vision. And yeah, I'm just curious, like, I mean, how have you seen this like playing out like in your world? Like how can you share like I don't know, like some stories of people, maybe like even your own experience where you started with one thing and then you kind of like expanded into like more like roles, more responsibilities, something like this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Woolworths in South Africa is basically, I don't know what example to use on your side, but it's kind of like it's a very, very big brand. It's kind of like Target. It's like a fancy Walmart in South Africa. And I started messing around with retouching. I making people look as cool as possible. And now there's always that cringe thing that happens that you over retouch everything, right? And then you find out, okay, we kind of bring it back, and kind of got into agency. And the agency, after a couple of months, I became like the senior retoucher, started training up other retouchers. But then they were like, but then there was opportunities. These opportunities started coming up, and this is the thing. This is where occupational curiosity is like the most satisfying thing ever, because you'll be in a conversation, you hear something like this. Emile, if you can get those images to me, those retouch images, then we just need to get it made into ads. We just have to get it into the website, move into that. We just have capacity right now. Oh, well, I can design. I understand all the fundamentals of designing all those things. It's all one person, right? I can do all those things. And since I can do those two things, if there's a problem on step 2, I'm also the guy in step 1, right? So there's no back and forth. Okay, cool. So this grew. And then there was a couple of questions about video work. And I was like, oh, I could do it. There was a little bit of faking and making it, but we have YouTube now. It blows my mind. We have YouTube now. There's what's 20, I can't remember. It was like 27,000 hours uploaded a day of information. There's this funny saying that says, no matter whatever you know, there is a guy on YouTube with bad audio quality that will explain it 5 times better than you, or do it 5 times better than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you have no excuse. Then a subject came up where we wanted to make these like actual, we want to kind of like materialize these flow charts and stuff, and it was all coming into the same marketing campaign. And I was like, let me dabble with some 3D. I'll spend a weekend, I'll look at some YouTube videos, and now flip, I know the fundamentals of Cinema 4D, which is a 3D editing program. And there's just, I kept hearing these conversations of like, oh, listen, Emile, do you know someone who can do this? And they put more reliance on you. They put more reliance on you because whether you know it or not, you kind of get it done. And when I blinked, I was kind of like, the agency I was working for was doing work for Woolworths. And Woolworths came to me and said, hey, do you want to just work for us since you know all these things? I was like, okay. So moved over, and again, they knew that I could do actual physical photography. They knew that I could do the actual editing, and they knew that I could train people quite quickly. It was just something that I really love talking and educating creatives. And they gave me a budget of a couple of mil, and we built their online studio. And now that whole studio produces all of their online collateral and assets, right? And all it was because I understood the bigger picture. I just started like, I believe that there's just kind of being a broken record saying the same thing. And yeah, but I really do believe that there's one true religion, and that is curiosity. Soak up as much as you can, fake it till you make it. You don't have an excuse. You have YouTube. There's a lot of courses online. And if you really want to know more about those things, learn the fundamentals and then pay for a course, or be around people who are considerably better than you in a vertical aspect, right? And then you can just expand wherever you want to. It's this fun little choose your own adventure, like tech tree of abilities, right? And your language changes, and the way that people rely on you changes. And yeah, man, it's so much fun. Nothing becomes intimidating anymore. Everything just becomes connected in some way, and you have a very, very effective way of talking to people. The way that I talk to copywriters now is different to the way I will talk to developers now. Is different to the way that I talk to graphic designers. I have a very specific way of talking to each of them. But what's also nice is if they come to you and say, "Photos, I can do this, but it's going to take like a week." You have the ability to say like, "No, it won't. I know what you need to do. I know the actual intricacies of what you need to do. It's going to take a day." You know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
you have real power. Now you have
Yeah.
power because no one can BS you.
Yeah.
And that's
Or sorry to
really
interrupt you. It's gonna take you 5,000. It's gonna cost $5,000. No, that's
yeah.
$1,000 job, buddy. Yeah, it's
Now,
not 5,000. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
And I've done that, by the way. I've done that for people where I'm like, tell me what your problem is. And they'll say, like, we want to do this, but it's going to cost so much. And I'm like, why is it costing so much? I know what this task is. You're getting taken for a ride, right? And yeah, it really helps in so many nuanced ways.
Yeah, man. It's funny. While you were talking, I was like busy taking notes furiously because I have like so many things I want to touch on. First of all, like for me, I really love like the mindset that you have like with how you approach like working with the agency and then like expanding your skill set. I have done this myself, but man, I mean, you know what? Actually, this is a way of living. It's like this go-getter mentality, and I don't think that like a lot of people have this. I have worked like with some like companies where I am gonna, let's say, chat with someone who does, I don't know, let's say that they do, let's say, social media work, and I will tell them to do something that's maybe like, I don't know, like 1 degree different than what they're used to, and they will be like, no, this is not for me. I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can literally like read an article on this and you can do it like in an hour. But they're like, no, I'm doing this one thing. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing, I'm not sure. I'm guessing like this is some type of, I don't know, like how they grew up where they believe this is okay. But I personally believe that you should actually pressure yourself to have this go-getter mentality, this, okay, I'm going to figure it out along the way. Because let's say that you're like a freelancer or you work for a company, you're becoming more indispensable to the company or to like the clients you have, because it's this like a halo effect. where, okay, one person is like you trust them to do, let's say, one thing. And now because like they have this trust with you, they are wondering, okay, can they do this other thing that I struggle with? So from a client's point of view or a company's point of view, they would much rather have you do, let's say, a few more tasks and potentially pay you more money than hire like another person to do this extra task or something else. So yeah, I think like for me, yeah, sure, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, sorry. I want to cut you off now because it just
It's
it
okay.
sounded
I'm,
cool.
I'm gonna kick you out of the way.
No, you know what? I want to quickly just go on this. Like when I said people don't have an excuse anymore, like when Matthew and I kind of work together, we there's a couple of things that we're wanting to tackle and go into, like some different fields and stuff. And it's always like, Flip, should we get a professional for this? And yes, people have this mentality of like, I'm this, it's going to be very difficult to go. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but guess what? Here's the cool news. You're in the space where it's going to be the hardest it possibly will be. It only gets easier. You're there. You're in the most crappiest, shittiest position ever. It just gets easier and easier. And guess what? By proxy, everything around it gets easier. It just gets easier and easier and easier, and like everything becomes more tangible. You know what? Like the profession, the way that it was for hundreds of years before was that people had an occupation. Your dad was a shoemaker, and his son, that kind of thing. So much so that a lot of surnames was a person's profession. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that. Like a lot of,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah. We have
because
this in
that's
Greece. Yeah.
yes, exactly, right? So it's like you did one thing, that was the family tradition. Japanese is also very much like that, and you got really good at it. The way it was vertical. People tend to go vertical, and your value increased with how more vertical you go. All right. Then it became of like the horizontalness of it. But like the problem with it, the problem with just going horizontal is that you also just basically become like a glorified manager, a jack of all trades, master of none type of thing. With the introduction of AI, with the introduction of the internet and how insanely catered it is to what you're wanting and at the insane rate that information is being provided, you used to have to go to a library, look for a book, and the person who wrote it probably doesn't even live anymore. And you have to like rely on this information for today's application. Today, I'm getting information of what's happening right now in its modern state. You know what I mean? Because people so badly want clicks and it's competitive and all these things. You now have the ability to go horizontal and vertical. There's no excuse. You can take information. You just have to have the hunger and the can-do mentality. You really can. Because again, it's only hard now. It only gets easier. Your hard changes, So yeah, choose your hard.
To your heart, yeah, that's what she said. But yeah, man, I like this because it's one thing. Something else that's interesting is that people tend to overestimate how much effort they need to put into something until they become, let's say, at least capable or good at it. And I'm gonna just share like a funny example that popped in my head. I think it was 3 months ago. I was like in a freelancer Filipino group for whatever reason. And the owner of the group, she was like, hey, I'm looking for courses on Claude. Okay, this is like a very well-known AI LLM. And yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about taking this one. It's gonna cost like this much money, and it's this many hours. And I just told her, there's no reason for you to take a course. Like, just start implementing it. Just start like applying the information. Try, because the problem with the course is that you will probably also learn like a bunch of things that you're not
Oh
interested
my
in.
gosh,
Yeah.
dude.
But with especially like AI, like okay, I have like 1 to 3 tasks that I want to complete. There's no reason for you to take a course. You will figure out like more things like but just like spending, I don't know, an hour on this task. And she was like, okay, this makes sense, thank you. And dude, like I think last month I saw her. She's like actually selling like an AI course, and I'm like, she went from okay, I have no idea how to use like AI or like for my business to okay, now I'm selling an AI course. Because she went like it's not like she's probably like a world class or anything, but yeah, man, it's very easy to go from a complete noob to competent like really really fast. Like if you spend like just an hour a day, okay, it's crazy. Like for me, yeah.
Yeah. There's just no excuse. I'm glad you kind of touched on AI. It's very difficult not to say things that's already been said many times. AI is not going to take your job. People who use AI is going to take your job. Those
Yeah.
kind of things. But the one thing that I don't think is being discussed enough, and this is something that I've delved in heavily, it's actually how we gone about with crafting Matthew's brand, personal brand as well,
Hmm.
is all that AI is going to do is just going to make the new baseline
Hmm.
higher, more
Yeah.
perfect. Everything feels very perfect now. I mean, you have what's a VO3 with Google. I mean, did you watch that Google keynote of all of Google's new stuff coming out?
Yeah, it was like a little bit too overwhelming, and I
It's
was like, okay,
very overwhelming.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
in,
I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch this now because I'm gonna get Brian shiny object syndrome. So I just like stuck to whatever it is I was doing. I found like a very cool AI tool called Flow with, and I asked it, hey, what do women want? And it still hasn't given me an answer. So yeah, I have it
yeah,
like working on the background. But yeah, man,
yeah.
I didn't.
So
Yeah.
so all it basically comes down to is it's going to be easier to make things perfect. That's all this. You're going to sound more professional. You're going to sound what that's going to be the baseline. That's going to be accessible to everyone right now. Back in the day,
Hmm.
like proficiency was basically the commodity where it's like, oh, you're not a doctor, you're a 10-year doctor, right? So you sound more like a doctor. You sound like a 10-year doctor. Now it's like, guy at year one can sound like a 10-year doctor right now. Okay, cool. All right. So I guess it's not the longevity of proficiency. What is it then?
Yeah.
So humans, we don't like balance. We don't. I
Hmm.
disagree with anyone who says humans like balance. We love contrast. You
Oh
like a
yeah.
warm bath after a cold day, right? But
Hmm.
if it's super hot, you want to go jump in a pool. It's like you love contrast. Oh, it's been a heavy, busy day. I want 3 days of peace. Oh, this piece is boring. I want to get some productivity. We love contrast. Why I'm saying this is because now this insane, I mean, prosumerism in the filming industry is this term that like DJI is a good example. Oh my gosh, DJI has made it so, I love this brand. This brand has just nailed where it's so accessible to get really good video quality in a handheld device for cheap, right? You
Hmm.
now have all three: time, quality, price, and DJI just
Yeah,
nailed
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's gonna, the capitalism, man, that's gonna go across everything right now because that's the new standard. So cool. What's the contrast now? The contrast is authenticity. The contrast
Hmm.
now is relatability, tangibility, right? We literally call it the Superman dilemma. The problem with Superman for a long time in the comic book was that he was too perfect. It was very difficult to make him interesting, right? He was a good looking guy. He was super strong. All these things. So they had to introduce kryptonite.
Kryptonite. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Now we all have kryptonite, right? Whatever it might be. It could be waking up early. It could be in insecurity. It could be all these kind of things. But now he's relatable, right? Because the symbolism has shifted. So I feel like with all of this perfection, like authenticity is really going to become the strongest element here, which is why I so strongly believe in personal brand, because it promotes the authenticity of yourself, right? There's 20,000 different fonts that you can download that simulates a beautiful stroking calligraphy font, but when we see a Japanese old man doing these perfect,
Mm. Yeah.
it's beautiful. So if I have two invitations, one is so clearly made with a font and one is you can see the texture graining of the paint on the paper, like which one are you gonna find more valuable, right?
Yeah, man. The later, obviously. Yeah.
Exactly. Why? Why?
Yeah.
That's so ancient. It's so ancient. It's like some things just don't change. We love the craftsmanship, the authenticity, because you can't fake time. The time it took to get into that, the time it took for photos to be who is today, those kind of things come in. Something that you and I spoke about, where I'm like, listen, man, like I love the way that you put yourself out there. My favorite things about you is where your humor, because you've got an amazing personality and humor, and I love it when it comes through the post. Why would you want a cool post of you sitting like this
No,
with
yeah, no.
a cool car in the background? It's like, dude, I can Google 50 people exactly like you.
Yeah,
But when
exactly.
you're like, but when you're like, hey, I'm interesting because of these things, there's gonna be a lot of people who can relate with that, right?
Mm.
It's like, dude, I can go into film discussions forever, but like a lot of these films today is like this person is amazing because they're amazing because they're the protagonist. No one can relate with that. Like the Mulan remake, I saw that now recently, and I got so angry because Mulan's one of my favorite Disney movies ever.
Mm.
In the old movie, in the original movie, she had to use the tools that she had access to overcome her struggles. That sounds
Hmm.
like every single human being. The new
Yeah, you can
Mulan is,
relate. Yeah.
yeah, the new Mulan is she's amazing. That's
No
it.
struggle. No struggle. Yeah, that's the
Who
problem.
relates
Yeah.
to that? What young woman's gonna relate to that? Like, yes,
Yeah.
self-acceptance, all those things, but it's like I'm going on a tangent again, but it's like
No, I love it.
like
I'm gonna add to it. I'm gonna add to it. Don't worry. Yeah.
but authenticity is going to become the new commodity, and it's going to
Mm.
grow massively because TikTok, dude, TikTok's popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's handheld, it's shaky cam, but
Yeah.
it's like the personality comes through, and that's what people want. It's relatable. So yeah, anyway, that's my TED talk.
Yeah, dude. I actually there's like a I think it was like a Stan Lee when he was like writing like a Spider-Man. And I don't remember if it was like a for the second movie with like a Doctor Octopus, or it was like a, in general, like in the comics, he was like, okay, he's like a superhero, he's gonna like defeat the bad guys, but he was like a way more interested in throwing a lot of like a personal shit at Peter Parker so he can solve them, like because he was like, you know what, like if people can relate to the struggles of being, let's say, a goofy teenager, and he would throw like a challenge upon challenge like to Peter Parker, to the point where, you know what, like probably the whole Spider-Man defeats, let's say, Venom or like a Green Goblin, it became just like an afterthought. Like you were like a more you were like a more attracted to the idea of like a Peter Parker, like a finally, I don't know, like a going on a date with like a Mary Jane, or I don't know, helping
Yeah.
his aunt like a carry like the groceries finally. But yeah, it was like a very cool, man. Yeah, it was very cool. And I think like if you actually look at some of like I believe like a good how can I say this, like a good format like to follow would be to look at like a previous medium, let's say for example series that lasted for years, or let's say comics. You can, if you actually like study those things, like you will see that they have, let's say, an authenticity, like something that makes like people connect with them. And yeah, I mean it would be like a much better, I don't know, it's gonna be like a much better like a your time will be like a much better spent like going through them than, I don't know, like trying to reverse engineer what Grant Cardone or Alex Hormozy or
That's
Gary
it.
Vee are doing. So because yeah, I mean you cannot relate to the guys who are like a multi-billionaires, and I mean the whole persona is like I'm a badass, like a
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and piss excellence. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree with this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People buy into how you make them feel. People buy
Hmm.
into ideology, values, right?
Hmm.
Either what they relate to or what they would like to relate to, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Nike doesn't
Hmm.
sell shoes. They
Yeah, of
don't.
course.
Their marketing
Yeah.
is not shoes. Their marketing is
Hmm.
the guy who's in an average, just below average home, waking up at 5 in the morning, but like only after like the second snooze button, and then gets up and trains hard, and like does all these things. Oh, by the way, he wears Nike. You know what I
Oh
mean? It's
yeah.
like, oh well, that's me. I wanna like resonate with those kind of things. And there was this beautiful ad that I saw once with Alan Gray, and I love this ad so much, where it's this kid and he's pushing his bike up this hill, and he's pushing it up, and he's pushing it
Hmm.
up, and everyone's watching him push up, and he's got these weird clothing on that he's made himself with like wrapping paper and stuff like that, and it's green. And he sits and he waits and he waits, and the sun rises and the sun gets higher and higher, and he sees something, and he gets on that bike, and the bike's barely holding it together. So the wheels are doing
Hmm.
this and stuff. And as he connects to the main road, you see the Tour de France coming past, and for a split second he joins the group, and then they
Nice.
go off again. And that moment, and it's just like it's just so cool, where it's like it's Alan Gray. Like, holy crap,
Hmm.
calm down. Okay, fine, I'll buy your flipping product. But it's like they
Hmm.
know that it's how you make them feel, that relatability, that story. I love feeding story into things. Like,
Oh
again, this
yeah.
is why I love copywriters. Copywriters will be like, okay, we're selling this, let's reverse engineer this. Who's the main target audience? What stage of awareness are they? What are their pain points? What are those things? Let's turn that into a story. Let's use
Yeah.
keywords that hit those specific points.
Yeah.
What I want to be is saying cool, but let's turn that into a whole cool little movie, or little narrative, right?
And
It's
narrative.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I felt
yeah.
that.
And that's just so much fun. The ideological process of taking that and feeding that through. And yeah, man, people remember that. And
Hmm.
that's way more fun. And that's actually kind of like the whole why the personal brand thing is very important, because it's like you've got all these tools at your disposal. You're this talented guy who's like learned all these things. Hopefully you've skilled up horizontally and vertically to some degree, and people connect with people. They don't connect with companies. It's
Exactly.
amazing that when I say, I said this to you at the, I said this basically at the Rome meetup, where it's like, when I say Tesla, you see
Yeah.
him, you instantly see
Yeah,
him.
you see, yeah, of course, yeah. I see Elon
Yeah.
Musk, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
you see him instantly. When I say Microsoft, a
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
people will see him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Apple, right? The guy's passed away.
Even though he's been dead like for
He's been
10
dead
plus
for
years.
so long
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it's amazing, right? And the more people distance themselves from the company, the more disliked the company tends to be, because now you're the machine. You're this lifeless machine. We can't relate to a company, but I can relate to a person who tweets stupid stuff sometimes and does,
Of
you know what I
course.
mean? Like I can relate to that. The power behind a personal brand, and a lot of times people do the branding part well, but they don't do the personal part. A lot of people know the personal brand thing and they get into it, but they'll do the branding part. They'll post and they'll put themselves out there in some way. But
Yeah.
the nuances of putting your face in there, your voice, your face, the consistency of it, it's crazy. I tell people, go to the people close to you who like you for you and ask them what they like about you, right?
Yeah.
And then see if you agree with that. Most of the times you will, but sometimes it'll be surprising. Oh, I like the way that you don't take long to get to the point. I love the way the photos just tells me exactly, but it always feeds in a little bit of humor. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Well, there's a whole bunch of people, and I'm willing to bet a lot of those people are going to say more or less the same thing. It's like, now imagine if you turned that part of photos into a personal brand. Guess what? You'll be able to do it for a long time because that's who you are. But
Yeah,
if you're
it's
going to
natural.
pretend, yeah, but if you're going to pretend to be this perfect person and everything's done with AI and all these, it's like, dude, how long are you going to want to do that? Even if you can do that for long, how long do you want to do that? You know, wouldn't it be cool that every like you get on a post or every reaction you get from something or every sale you get from something was partially there because people was driven by who you are and what you said and because they believed you and because you believed it. So
yeah, it's fun. I mean, I was like very actively doing this like in my fitness business. I don't remember if I think like ever since I started it back like in 2011. Just I'm feeling old now. I would
how old are you now?
always. I am older than you. I'm 36.
Oh, we said this. Bro,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
behind
yeah.
you by a couple of months. I'm getting
It's
there.
okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Keep up, buddy. Keep up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it was like a little bit natural to me to kind of like search stuff about myself. I think it first started with like the humor. So it helped me see other fitness guys who I respected having fun in their writing. So I'm like, okay, I mean, the writing doesn't need to be dry. So yeah, I mean, I can also like it be funny. But then like I took it like to another level where I would started sharing like some of my personal stories. And I always share like this story because it kind of like it drives home the point of like putting yourself out there. I once wrote an email about how I think it was the angle was like how video games made me like a better coach. And I started by saying that when I was like in high school, I would go with my friends. We would play Dota like after school.
Oh, you're a
And
Dota guy as well.
I was a
So
Dota guy,
cringe.
yeah.
I'm back into it
Uh,
again, by the way.
yeah, that's same with you. That's cool. Yeah, and what I would do is that okay, a lot of my friends they would just pick like a one random like a champion hero. I don't remember what the term was, and they would just like play with him. But no, I would actually like research the hero I wanted to play with, like I don't know, like the previous night, and I would read like some guides. I would read, let's say, okay, what are like the weaknesses? I mean, what are like the best heroes to go against. And every time, okay, when we would go and play, yeah, I mean, I would already have done like a bunch of research and I would cross my friends, like, or I would cross like the teams that we were at because, yeah, I mean, I knew the hero. And I kind of like segued into like talking about fitness. And I got, at the end, I was pitching like my fitness services. And the guy like he responded to me and he was like, hey, for this, I mean, I'm pretty sold. Okay, let's hop on. And when we started chatting about okay, what made you move forward with this? Because he was on my list like 3 years. So he has gotten like around 1,000 emails because I was emailing daily. And this one email got him, and he was like, "Hey man, I mean, I used to play Dota too." And I'm like, see, like this one thing that okay, some people might read this email and be like, why the hell is this dude talking about video games when he's like a fitness coach? But see, like this like one thing, and of course, like all the previous things that I've done, like okay, it's not like this one email like post him over the digital funds or whatever. But yeah, it was like a combination, but it was like I mean, I don't know, like what made him go, okay, I want to work with this guy because I resonate with him. And yeah, I mean, for me, that's like how you put like the personal back into your brand, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. Things
Yeah.
drive you, right? These things
Yeah.
drive you. And the further you go along in your occupation and your learnings, the more you craft those kind of things, and everything feeds into it. I totally agree with you. The way that I love movies, the stuff that I watch when and I'm a big, my wife doesn't like me saying cinephile because it sounds too hectic, but
Like,
a
yeah.
movie lover.
A movie lover. Yeah.
Non scholars and artists. But when I watch these things, the stuff that drive me to like a movie is the stuff I like to inject into a marketing campaign, or the stuff that I
Yeah.
like to, because it makes me feel something. Surely it must make other people feel something, right? And you might say, yeah, but like people like different things. It's like, sure, but like pertain to the people that speak your language, right? And
Yeah.
again, we're talking about personal brand. We're not talking about writing for a different client, because then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a
That's
different
different.
but
That's different scenario.
when you're working on your personal brand, like you represent a percentage of the demographic out there, right? Surely there's at least 50,000 people who similar to Photos and likes the same stuff, at
Definitely.
least, right?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. So if you keep that messaging and you really believe it and you go and you develop it and you get, a big percentage of those kind of people, and maybe you get additional excess people who find something else interesting about you just for the sake that you're interesting. It's sustainable because you're not putting up an act. It's you with all the flaws and all the bad spelling and all the I'm projecting here, but like with all the irregularities and imperfections and stuff like that. But like I love humor. I love feeding humor. I really connect with people through humor. To me, humor is one of the coolest ideological processes, because you're taking something and you're feeding it through a filter in real time, and you feed it back out to them in a way that they go ha ha ha. It's like, it's weird. It's just, if you're an alien, you came here and you don't know what humor is, it's the weirdest thing on earth. It's like you're just saying something ironically and someone's making a noise with their mouth and we're all doing it in conjunction. It's like, it's very, very weird, but it's a game. It's a mini game. It's this little meta game that we're doing while we're doing something. And if I read an email, or if I read something and there's like this little joke put in there, it's almost like a prompt that like keeps me invested and makes me remember that point, because I'm feeling something that contrasts what I felt a few seconds before. But that's me. I like that. Like that you'll have other people that like get annoyed by humor and things. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't want those people to you don't want that as a demographic necessarily. Yeah, authenticity, man. Authenticity is just going to be such an incredibly valuable thing, and if you can hone and craft that, you win. You win the personal brand game, in my opinion.
You talked like before, like we started recording that okay, two of the three things you wanted us to talk about was okay, personal brand and like the commodity of authenticity. I don't remember the term you used. So since you
Yep.
talked about okay, we talked a little bit about the personal brand. I have like more things I want to ask you, but yeah, let's also cover like what you mentioned about like the commodity of authenticity. So can you riff off on this a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Kind of touching on what we just spoke about, but like just with all the tools and all the stuff that we have right now, people so hyper focus and becoming incredibly perfect in their craft, in their
Yeah.
messaging, in their voice. The norm is going to be where people say, hey, listen, if you're going to come in and you're just going to type in a prompt into AI and it's going to sound really perfect, especially if your prompts are good, I can't help but feel like either one of two things. Either AI is going to have like your clients and fellow copywriters are going to is going to get very honed into what AI sounds like, be it brilliant or not. Or B, it's going to get so good that we can't even distinguish it, which is most likely going to be the case. But whatever the case is, the accessibility, the access frame for people to sound incredibly proficient and become perfect in every single way, whether it's generating AI video or an email, whatever it is, the tools are there now. That the commodity, the value of authenticity is going to become more recognized, in my opinion, than ever before. It's always been recognized, like the example of the Japanese dude doing this beautiful calligraphy. It's always been valued, But right now, we zig normally, right? We zig normally when there's a clear, obvious zag for years. And we love contrast, like mentioned before. Authenticity is going to become the next, and it's been teased through TikTok. It's been teased through the imperfect actions of celebrities and popular figures out there, right? We love them or hate them. They're top of the news on a constant basis. You hear more about a person than you do hear about a company all the time, right? It's because we connect with them more. But the commodity of authenticity is going to become an all-time high in the next 5 years plus, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha. It's funny, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes I think like everything is like they work all the things like in the industry, especially like internet marketing, copywriting community. They work in circles because I was listening to a podcast from one of my mentors that he did, I don't know, back in 2015. And he was like, apparently people want me to teach them how to be authentic. And he did a podcast talking about how to be authentic. But
you understand the paradox of that sentence of teaching people how to be authentic.
Teaching how to be authentic. I mean, he was like, okay, whatever. Like if people wanted this, like they've been asking, but it's funny. It's funny, man. I mean, I can really see like offers, a low ticket offers. Okay, give me $5 and I'll teach you how to be authentic. It's like, what? Something
and you
like
know
that.
what? No, that's actually so curious. I never actually really thought about that, but you're right. There's probably going to be some offers out there, and maybe some of them will be really good. Maybe it's the hookup coach that just teaches you how to talk to women, right? Like whether what he's saying is right or wrong, it's still gonna like make you aware of authenticity. So I always have this thing with the motocross friends that I had in the competitive space. I had this whole thing of like, it doesn't matter if you're superstitious or not. If you believe that having a napkin in your left pocket while racing makes you 10% faster, do it.
Do it, yeah. Who cares?
Placebos have proven to work time and time again, right? So it's like, yeah, listen, as long as people know that authenticity, you know, when you look at Matthew's content, so I work with Matthew on a lot of all of his content, and we spoke a long time about this, like, how do we want to portrayal? I'm like, what do you mean? How do we want to portrayal who you are? And I the only reason when Matthew and I first met, we spoke about working together for a long time, but the stars never aligned because I was always busy with other things. And I also didn't really understand his world, but we always just knew that we wanted to work together. And because I understood this whole authentic personal brand thing, and because he also knew it, that's where we connected. And you know, I quit from the agencies I worked at. I was completely burnt out. I didn't really love the stuff that I was doing. And Matthew calls me. He's like, "Hey, dude, listen, like, just let's do some personal brand stuff. Let's just see how it goes." If you go and look his content, the way we spoke about it is like, we're not going to do massive pre-production. We do, but with things that matter. I'm not let you in on all the secrets, but watch his videos. The camera shakes. Camera's doing this the whole time. Do you know why? Because nothing in the world that's natural is perfectly still through a perspective, through the eyes of anything. We're always moving. Something's always moving, and there's always so I'm like, I'm not gonna use a tripod ever. Like, we'll do some stuff where he's walking through a garden. I'll use a gimbal to some degree, but I'll be a part of it, right? But I love this thing. We had some people saying like, "Whoa, dude, can you get a more like stable camera guy?" It's like, good. That's fine.
Good. We like this. Great.
But there's something about it, right? When you watch these handheld found footage movies, it's like, it feels more scary because you're in there, because that's how I perceive the world. It's janky, things blurry sometimes, right? And you know what? Like, he also knows what he wants to talk about, but there's no script. There's none. He's just like, I know what I want to talk about. I know what's in my heart. I know what I believe in because I'm in the world of the copywriters. I'm like, cool, just run with it. Just go. And it's very anti my past, because my past was big productions, key lights, multiple takes, script, all these kind of things. But action, because I was there, I know what that is. I know what that is. That's not us. I don't want perfect. People are always like, man, don't you want to get a bigger production crew? If you watch like Iman Gaji stuff, super professional. I know what his production is. I know exactly which cameras he uses. I know which key lights he uses. It's so clear to me. Cool. That's who he is. That's the content he wants to watch. That's not the content that we want to watch necessarily.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I said to Matthew, our review process is very easy. Would you watch this?
Yeah. Is the content good enough? Yeah. Is the content good enough?
For you.
Yeah, for
Because
me,
the thing
yeah.
is, because it's subjective. We're in the realm of creativity. There are no rules. I've been in the industry for over 13, 14 years now. There are no rules in creativity. Like thumbnails, making thumbnails. If you want to ever see me rage and lose my mind, shame. I feel so bad for Matthew because we'll talk about thumbnails and stuff. And I hate thumbnails because there's no rules. Like you'll have this thing that says $1,000 copywriter with an arrow pointing. It's arrows, dude. Arrows is the thing that's getting clicks. It's like, shut up. Like, I've got contradicting data that shows native images, which means images with no editing on it. It's just a picture, but has been performing great. But then the next second, now a weird subtitle. Like you try things all the time, but there's no rules. The question is, you, Photos, you're the demographic. You who making the content, you're the demographic. Would you watch this? No, it's for someone else. Stop, pull up. Red alert, right? You're wasting your time. It's not sustainable. You might be able to do it for like a year or two, but then afterwards you're going to turn into that person who just burns out trying different things and dance monkey dance. Do you guys like this? Is this what you want? And then the next thing comes, is like, no, is this what you want? Like you don't know because you're not the demographic. But if you're the demographic, you'll know when things get boring. You'll look at your content and be like, this is boring. Good. Change. What do you want? What's interesting to you? So I can't hear you. Is that me? It could be me.
Wait.
There, I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
You were just muted for that 1 second, but I wasn't even muted.
Okay, so you didn't even hear my joke that I made?
No, but it looked funny. The camera was moving, you were smiling.
I was like, let me shake my camera a little bit to be more authentic.
This is the interview. Hey guys, so today we're gonna...
Oh, no. I actually dropped my tripod. Damn it. Okay, that's what you get for being an idiot. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, full authenticity, baby. Oh, okay. Let me fix this. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Shit. Can you see me?
Everything beautiful.
Okay, perfect, nice. Okay, yeah. That's what you get for being an idiot. But it's okay. I had fun.
Yeah,
I had fun. But you did. I mean, now that I said like a.
Sorry, just a quick example. Normally, people will be like, "Cut that out." And what I'm trying to say is like, no, like, but you know what I'm saying is like,
I felt
like, yeah, it's anyway, you get it.
I get it, man. I actually like it's funny like how we're like from different worlds, and I think we've never like talked about those things, but I see like so many parallels to like a lot of principles that I have. I mean, one of my principles like with like when it comes to writing, for at least like for my own stuff, it's like if I have fun writing this, they're gonna have fun reading this. And
exactly,
yeah, I mean, I wrote like a gigantic like a case study where I was like, okay, I want to use it as marketing material, but I don't know. I was like around 1,000 words in, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna use this as marketing material because it has too much humor. But I'm like, I'm having so much fun that I don't want to stop. So yeah, this was like a good example of okay, this is something I want. I was getting energized just thinking about it. I think a good example to know that you're doing this personal branding, not a good example, but a good sign to look for is that if you do this personal branding thing, do you get energized while you're pumping content, or do you feel like it drained? Like
exactly.
Whenever I'm writing like for myself and I'm like, okay, there's no limitations here. Okay, I'm not gonna insult people or anything, but you know what? I'm gonna troll. I'm gonna talk about my cats. I'm gonna use like a weird, the vocabulary I like using. For me, I mean, man, I just love it. I can do this like all day long. Okay, but if you actually have me like I don't know, right? Let's say a 300-word email for let's say a client that okay, I'm kind of bored and I don't want to say the same thing again and again and again. Yeah, man. I mean, this is gonna be like it's gonna be like a struggle for me. So I'm guessing like a lot of like guys are also having this issue where it's like, yeah, I'm not really into what I am doing with with the client work, but if you actually start building like your own brand and talking about things that you actually enjoy, yeah, I think you're gonna have like a lot of fun while doing those things.
You know what? You just said something that like I believe so firmly. It's so obvious, but the more you think about it, and it's more prominent now with the whole AI and with all these things. And again, I'm not anti-AI. It's inevitable. Use it. It's absolutely amazing if you use it. But you just said something now. You know what you can't fake? Fun.
Yeah.
You cannot automate fun.
Mm.
The same way you can't scale creativity other than by getting more creatives, right? Like there's no process,
Exactly.
there's no
Exactly.
formulaic event. Fun is the very essence of authentic. Something like a jump scare, or something like a thrilling scene, a tense scene, or a joke that makes you uncontrollably laugh. Like that is the very core of fun. You can't do that formulaically, but you can do that with who you are, because the thing is, it's a language that's so incredibly nuanced and abstract that
Yeah.
you can't feed it. Like I know that AI knows what a good joke is, right? But like again, we're in the realm of subjective. Like who what's funny to one person is
It's
offensive or
not.
lame to the
Yeah.
other person, right? So
Hmm.
because we're in the realm of of abstract, it's like cool, just pertain to what you know, because you represent a demographic out there.
Hmm. Yeah, I love this. I love this, man. You talked a little bit like before about like how you started like building like a Matthews brand, etc. So I'm just curious, like, did you guys can you like go through like the process a little bit, if you will? Like, did you brainstorm some ideas about like how what are the talking points? Did you brainstorm a bit about like his interests and whether some things he can talk about
Good
them?
question.
Yeah, I mean, if how, yeah, I mean,
So when we started getting into this, right, and we knew we could do this because of all of my collective curiosity, a collective curiosity, and because of his collective curiosity. Like he knows his space, I know my space, and together we felt like we could do really something really cool. The only reason I opted in, because I had other things that I could get into. I could go back into the filming world, which I love. I love the filming world. The reason I got into Matthew's stuff is because we were very, very good friends. He was one of my groomsmen at my wedding. Like we were good
yeah.
friends long before. So I observed him for a long bit time. And to me, I couldn't do the guru thing. And I felt like the space had a lot of gurus.
Oh yeah.
And to me, Matthew was the first sight that I saw of someone who gave a crap about the people around him. The guy, when you sit with him and we're traveling to all these places and chatting, all he talks about is how to benefit copywriters.
Oh
He
yeah.
really cares about them. It's insane. And that was the first time when I heard him talk. Every time we'd go for drinks or go for food, like the guy so genuinely and authentically cared about the industry and the people in it, and he was good at it.
Yeah.
So Matthew, I don't know how much I can say, but Matthew doesn't have a car. Like the guy's killing it financially. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't care about things. He does. I was the one. If you see his nice clothes and his new stuff, I was the one that going like, bro, come, we're getting some dope
Thank you for
clothing.
this. Thank you for this, Emile.
Yes,
Thank you.
he
Yeah.
doesn't care. All he cares about is genuine value for people out there. There were some videos where I was like, bro, we're getting a lot of views on this video. We should do more of it. He's like, no, there's more than enough out there. We've got it. Like I wanna look at the future. Where's the industry going? There's copywriters that's freaking out right now because of AI. They're freaking out about these things. There's an evolution happening. How do we help them? Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
saying
Good
all
point.
these things because to me, I was like, I don't know if Matthew's personal brand is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But holy crap, if I'm ever going to do this kind of thing and dive into the world of copywriters who I absolutely adore in terms of how much respect I have for them, this is the guy I'm going to do it. He just happens to be a very close friend of mine. And I believe in what he's doing, right? And the kind of conversations we have is really just every time of like, would we watch it? And do we really feel like this is going to benefit copywriters? The only caveat to that is that I get to have a hell of a lot of fun by filming him in 4K raw and finding cool ways of portraying him. It's kind of fun for me, right? I'll do some stuff on the side to keep me creatively intrigued in other places, but like this is fun. Like I believe in what the guy does, and there's not a big answer to your question other than that. It's just the guy is the real deal. There's other people like you, like a lot of other people that I've met in the industry. I'm like, flip, these guys have so much value and they love teaching. They love helping people. They become a net positive to everyone within a close
They
proximity
interact
to
with.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Matthew, when he jumps off a call, like he gets so stoked if it was a genuinely good call. Yeah, I can see when he's drained, when he feels like it was like a time wasting call. It was just not pandering, but it was just kind of like a buzzword filler kind of call. But when it's a call where someone really bad, there was someone who, oh man, I hope I'm not getting in trouble, but there was someone who messaged him, and I know these kind of people. They have a victim mentality. They couldn't get things
yeah.
right, and they want someone to blame. And they've only
Yeah.
been in Matthew's thing for like zero time, and they were angry because they didn't get instant satisfaction. And how this affected the guy went into like almost a bit of a depression.
Really?
Now, if you, it affected him so negatively. He didn't even want to like film the next video. We were like, dude, we got to film. He's like, I don't have the energy. Now, don't tell me a guy who's just doing stuff for the money. This is not an ad for Matthew. I'm just saying, like, I get into these things because if you can take that energy and you can package it well, like, holy crap, bro. Like, that's some fun content to make. And I feel like you've got the same energy. I feel like a lot of the people that I met at the dojo has the same kind of energy. And it's like, personal brand's fun, dude. It's fun because it's real. It's not a company. It's not this fake thing of like, did you know that with Squarespace you can get 20% off? And it's like, no one talks like that, dude. Hey, what's in your hand? It's a new Sony. It's like, no one speaks like that, dude. Like, who are you? So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know even if I answered your question.
You didn't. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, frankly, like, okay, when I asked you, I was expecting like, do this, the step 1, step 2. Then I'm like, no, I mean, I shouldn't have asked this. Hopefully he doesn't try to give me a step 1, step 2, step 3.
I can give tips. Listen, I can give tips to anyone. Sorry to cut you off, man. But like, I can, when we went to the thing and Matthew's like, I'd like you to talk about some stuff from Indispensable. Like, I don't know what I can tell that's going to benefit copywriters. He's like, how to take a good photo. I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, something that to me is such a fundamental, basic thing. I forget that people don't know these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let me actually turn this around. What do you think is a fundamental question that a copywriter who wants to work on their personal brand, can you give me, because I can go on tangents forever, but what's a question that you think a lot of copywriters are going to have that they could ask someone who knows like the space of photography, videography, personal branding, assets, collateral, whatever the case may be? What do you think they could benefit from?
Many questions. I'm guessing like if we're talking especially for beginners, like the first question would be like, how do I even begin? Okay, where do I even get started? But I don't know, man. I think you kind of like narrow it, like your expertise a little bit, where you talked about like photography and like I don't know, like those technical things. I was thinking about like what type of like how should they put themselves out there like into the world, like something like that? Like is it like as simple as, I don't know, give a little bit of how-to content with a little bit of personality? I like, question. Yeah, I mean, maybe like again, like maybe you can go back to like how Matthew like started, let's say like his YouTube channel. Like was it always, did he, because I haven't watched like the earlier videos, but was it like okay, let's do this one, how to get clients and talk only about the content with like a zero personality in there, like how, I mean, or maybe you can talk about how he evolved like since you guys started working together. I don't know, like I'm just throwing like some ideas.
I'm with you. I got something for you. So one of the things that was the biggest learning curve for me when I dove into the direct response world is I started working with media buyers. And oh my gosh, do I love working with media buyers, because media buyers are the data people. I'm the creative person, and you get the data people. Why I'm saying this is going to sound very unsatisfying, but I'll unpack it. But you start by starting. You need to get data, right? You need to do two things. You need to start getting data, and you need to start crafting who this persona is as authentically as possible as you. There's still some crafting too, right? No one wants to hear about your cat in every single post, even though I love my cat. Exactly, right? But it's like maybe after the 20th post, maybe like, unless of course that's your thing. Maybe Photos has this cool Instagram where every single post is about his cat and what I taught him about B2B, you know? So like you can have that thing, fine. But you need to get data and you need to start failing forward. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
Start posting, start saying stuff, look at it. It doesn't make you feel cringe. Good, you're moving, the ball's rolling. You want to get to a point where it's cringy. You want to look back and be like, because that means that you now have a basis of comparison. If you've got nothing, you're in limbo. You don't even know which direction to go. But if you start walking forward and you hit a rock, you're like, well, that direction doesn't work. Good, you've got data. So start putting some stuff out there and also reverse engineer. What do you want to achieve? If you're just aimlessly posting for the sake of posting,
that's a problem. Yeah,
people are going to know, like, I need to, bro, you're not the only person out there. There's 1,000 other people out there. What do I feel? And did I go a little bit forward after reading Fotis's posts, right? So I like that. Like, yes, something you've learned with some of your flavor. Because why? As a reader, I'm going to get benefited by something and I'm going to feel something. I feel something because I'm reading something with your flavor. I'm laughing, or it's very intriguing, or it's very vulgar. But regardless of how I feel, which is the decoration, the substance is that, oh, now I've learned something about, offer building or whatever the case may be. But just start and don't stop. I said this earlier because I knew we were going to get to this point. I'm going to say it again. You are at the point where it's the single hardest it's ever going to be. The more you do, the easier it gets. And it only gets easier. The hard changes, right? But knowing nothing and being in limbo sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? If I'm driving a car and it stops driving and I don't know why, everything looks fine, that's a problem. You know what's not a problem? If I can see the oil cooler burning. Now I know what the problem is. The problem is the oil cooler. If I do this, the car will move. You want data. So just start getting data and start working past your insecurities. Start working past the rust of not doing these kind of things. You don't have an excuse. Just get out there. There are people 1,000 times less interesting that's nailing it right now because they just went and sometimes you got to switch your brain off because we're all insecure. You're not special. Oh, my voice annoys me. Everyone's voice annoys them except Adele. Everyone must love Adele's voice. But just move forward so that you can get past insecurities, get the data, and start understanding what you want to sound like, right? Maybe after the 20th post, you got really good feedback, but also that post made you feel excited. Okay, cool. Ride that. But it took you 20 posts to get that. But that's fine. Just move forward. It's not costing you anything. There's not a premium behind every post. Just post, just go, just take photos, find out which angles you feel comfortable with, find out which angles don't work. You're not special by saying that you're insecure or you're neurodivergent or whatever the case may be. It's just get started. It's only going to benefit you beyond what you can even comprehend in the future.
Yeah, loving this. One thing that I would perhaps add to anyone who's watching this is maybe if you also struggle, get a little bit clearer on who you're talking to, because Matthew really helps him that he's speaking about copywriters and he's he created a community where he's literally getting bombarded with hundreds of even thousands of messages every day with not always the struggles, but maybe here's what's happening in the industry, here how copywriters think about the future, etc. So, and I actually know this is the case because I had this struggle myself, because a few months ago I was okay, who am I even writing to? And even though
Good question.
Even though I have a lot of things to talk about, I was there's always something missing, and I couldn't point my finger at what was missing. But then it hit me. I'm you know what? You don't, do you talk to coaches? Do you talk to e-com brands? Do you talk to other marketers, copywriters? And just a few days ago, I started limiting my available options. And this gave me a lot of clarity, because by limiting the available options to who I want to talk to, I can dig a little bit deeper. I can do a little bit more research on the content. I can research some specific companies. And this gives you a little bit more depth that, I don't know, for me, it always helped me. I even remember this from my fitness days. I would have it would be much easier for me to write, let's say, a post about either weight loss or muscle gain or joint pain than just a generic fitness post. Or if I would just write about everyone, it would be easier for me if I wrote a post about men specifically or women. So this gave me a lot of clarity, and I don't know, I'm kicking myself for not realizing this earlier with what I'm doing with my own brand now. But just get clear on who you're talking to, and maybe this will make things much easier.
The answer is also very simple. Again, this is personal brand, not working for a client. When you're working for a client, who you're talking to depends on who the client's target audience is. My opinion, and I wouldn't be surprised if other people don't agree with this, or maybe I'm being dismissively simplistic about this, right? But if you're doing personal brand, you know who you're talking to. You're talking to you, right? So when Matthew forms this whole thing, to a degree, he's putting stuff out there that he would find, like, because the thing is, he represents this thing. He's successful because he knows what his target audience wants and what they care about, right? Now, there's nuances to this, right? Not all copywriters are the same, sure, but as far as the industry as a whole goes, there's a lot of similarities. And to me, I personally feel like when it comes to personal brand, if you want to ask someone, ask yourself and be brutally honest. Like, we tell the most lies to ourselves, right? Like the most lies we tell ourselves is in front of the mirror. We've heard that saying 1,000 times. Cool. Be careful of that, right? Confirmation bias with yourself is good luck, buddy. But it's more of like how do you feel? Is this interesting? Do you feel better? Does this really feel like you? Does this really feel like something that would benefit you? And yes, get some data from people out there, because they might actually teach you something about something you haven't realized about yourself, right? That's totally fair. But you do really have to start with, how do I feel about this? I mean, you just said it now with the fitness stuff. The second you wrote about these things, and I'm willing to bet that you actually had interest in those things and you had more to say and more to think about. Correct, right? It's not because you asked Gary what he thought about that and you're like, oh, okay, let me write more about that. It's like, no, I had more in me, and that drove more information, that drove a harder effort, and it had a more genuine endeavor. So.
Love this, man. So I wanna start slowly begin wrapping this up, because you threatened to drop some really nasty words if we didn't. Error. But I mean, one last. Really
just for the viewers here, I basically told them that if he takes too long past a certain time, I'm going to start becoming incredibly vulgar as the time goes on and have way more flammable opinions about things. So it's totally up to you, man. I'm happy to stay here for 5 hours.
I like how you gave us the politically correct version to protect me from the YouTube
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
about. That's good, man. Then you know what? Like, my question is there something that you believe I should have asked you that I didn't, or something that you would like to talk more about that, we didn't so far, like in this interview?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things is, I said that people don't put enough personal into their personal brand.
Yeah.
So let's quickly get into the less abstract and the more practical, right? Apparently, you guys want to know what it actually means to actually take good photos. So maybe let me add a couple of tips and stuff in there, be as quick as possible, just in terms of, you've got a camera. Your camera is really great. Capitalism is pretty awesome with these kind of things, because now everyone's mid-range to high-range cameras are better than most point-and-shoot dedicated cameras. It's insane. My parents went to Europe for a month, and they were like, "What camera should we buy?" I'm like,
you've got phones.
You've got your phone, and it's insane. It like my mobile phone can shoot 8K video. It's like insane. So just remember, eye level or a little bit higher, never from lower. Okay. Ask women. Women always know this. They know to take photos from a little bit higher, because then your bone structure is a bit better. Don't take photos in broad daylight in the middle of the day. You always want light and angle. Pro little tip: if it's a cloudy day and you don't want to necessarily get a beautiful sky behind you, cloudy days are awesome for photos because you have zero shadows. See this downlighter right now? Downlighters are the devil. Do not shoot any photos in a room with downlighters, because it creates shadows here. You look tired. Look at me. I'm going through something right now. But like, you know what I mean? So just cloudy days give you the softest light. If you've seen those lights with those big diffuse boxes on, it's because it's simulating what clouds are doing. It's just diffusing light. It's softening light, right? So just start taking photos. But the number one thing I suggest to people is, if you want to get your personal brand out there, you want to portray yourself as I don't like the word professional, but as nicely packaged as possible. If you get into the the personal brand side, and you're committed now, everything you've heard so far, cool, fine, Emile, shut up, I'll do it. Get a photographer, get 3 costumes. Sometimes I say 2, but I actually think 3 is better, because otherwise for the next year, you're going to have the same outfit for forever. And then understand what the photographer is doing. Ask them for some tips, right? But like, get some professional photos out. It's going to cost you $200, $300, $400, maybe $500, but it's like, it's done. You're sorted. right?
Yeah, yeah,
Get your beard trimmed, get your hair cut, whatever the case may be. I feel like normally women don't have a problem with this because women with social media, they know the game, man. And
yeah,
us
yeah,
as men, we
yeah.
know the benefits from these games, right? Like
Hmm.
the thirst trapping or whatever you want to call it. But like it's time to do some professional thirst trapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like put
yeah,
yourself out there. It's not about like I'm a model. It's not that. It's just here's the person. He exists. Those thoughts that made you laugh, those things that made you very curious and feel something when you read it. There's the person. Connect with them. You can connect with them. They're tangible, right?
yeah.
So, and if at the very least you've got some stuff for Tinder, you know. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I can definitely I guarantee you guys, Emile is amazing at photos. Like he sent me some photos that he took of me like back in Rome. I just use them like on Tinder because yeah, I'm totally shameless. Great results. Great results.
I'm literally working on an offer right now where I'm getting
Perfect.
royalties
Yeah, yeah,
for.
yeah. The grammar of the girls who replied to those photos is questionable according to them.
I'm sorry. I just want you to be philosophically consistent. My bad.
I'm like, it's like okay, bro. It's okay. That was good, man. That was good, man. Yeah, man. I mean, that has been a blast. So I mean, I guess like if anyone is interested in reaching out to you for, I also like asked you for like a brand congruency check at one point. So I don't know, maybe this is like something you'd be willing like to offer to people, but. Yeah, I mean, if people want to reach out to you, where should they send? I don't know, where can they find you?
You know, it's funny. Single people normally give the best relationship advice. And what I mean by that is even though I've preached about personal brand, I don't
Yeah.
do much of it myself because I normally work on other people's personal brands all the time.
Yeah,
So
it's the curse. Yeah.
yeah. So I've kind of actually have my hands full. I love to delve in the space for your viewers. Honestly, go check out Matthew's channel. Go check out everything that we chat about, everything that we share. He's saying on his channel. I dance around in the copy Basecamp dojo and copy dojo quite a lot, and I'm happy to help out people in that space. But I'm very terrified of the outside world. So if you want to chat to me, check out Matthew's stuff. I'm always there. I'm one message away in his ecosystem. So I have no
Okay, that's
personal agency.
too bad, man. I mean, it would kill if you could create like a $27 offer, but yeah, it's okay.
I
It's okay.
appreciate
Okay.
it, but
Yeah, it's okay, man. So yeah, I mean, thanks for doing this interview, man. I already made like a note of like some other
oh, I'm
things
so
that
sorry.
yeah.
I'm so
Go
sorry.
ahead.
We are actually on the 20. I'm so sorry. For on the terms of the offer, there's some stuff that I really want to get into quite deep. But Matthew and I are working on something and it's going to become part of his ecosystem because the thing is, like, I just feel
Perfect.
like there's some stuff that I really want to dive into deeper that I feel like copywriters can really, really benefit from. And not just copywriters, but online marketers, digital marketers, where I just feel like a
Yeah.
lot of these things are going. And we are working on something. Watch the space, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to do an independent thing. I just feel like the whole box set of what Matthew's doing right now, that's going to benefit them. You know what I mean? If I'm
Yeah.
going to do anything else, it's going to be a filming tutorial or filming mastermind on a separate thing.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's good, man. And I'm really glad that you guys are doing something for the space because okay, I mean, I used to dress horribly, so it's not like I'm totally judging people, but I have since like I think like 2 years ago, I started like the joke, oh, you dress like a copywriter because yeah, I mean, they dress bad. Like it's like a
developers and copywriters.
developers and copywriters. Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, no, okay, maybe I am biased because I have like some really good looking developers in my space who take care of themselves. But yeah, I mean, the copywriting space, yeah, needs like a styling course. They need like a photography course. They need like a complete rehaul course, if you will. Did you say that this is going to be like in Basecamp? Is it going to be like in the copy dojo or are you guys not sure yet?
Not entirely sure. It's more likely going to be in the dojo.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, we pay the big bucks, so we deserve the best. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a version of it most likely for copy
Copy
and copy
paste.
Basecamp because I feel like
Mhm.
on a fundamental level anyone can benefit from this. But there's some
Definitely.
really deep stuff that I'm very passionate about that we're
Okay.
kind of like working on. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so thanks a ton, dude, for doing like this interview. I'm definitely have like a few more things that I would like us to discuss like in the future. So yeah, thanks for being here with us and sharing like your wisdom.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much. I'm honored for being a part of this.
Okay, take care, buddy. See you.